Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is the very long awaited brow routine. I know it's taken me forever to film this. I had filmed like 2 versions of this before, but I really didn't like them. So it has taken me a while to film a version that I like, and I'm also really busy getting back into work and stuff, but that's not an excuse. I promise there will be weekly videos from me from now on. So without further ado, let's get into my brow routine. Okay, so the first thing that I generally do when I'm filling in my eyebrows, like part of my brow routine, is take a look at my Anastasia stencils. I highly recommend these for people with eyebrows like me because I have a hard time filling them in and making them even because they are so naturally uneven. So I generally look at these and see which one that I want to use for that day. On a daily basis, I use the Petite Arch. I've raved about these stencils before on my channel. If you've watched my other videos, I absolutely recommend them, again, like for people with eyebrows like me. So on a daily basis, I do use Petite Arch only because I don't want a crazy full arch on a daily basis. I don't want my eyebrows overdone just on a regular day, like when I'm going to work and whatnot. So I just sort of take a look at that and see which one I want to use. So today I'm going to use Petite Arch because I'm showing you what I do on a normal day. Then I take my Anastasia brow brush. This is the one in number 12. It has one side where you can use to dip in like the powder or the pomade or whatever. That's really tiny. It's a tiny little brush part, and then the other side has a spoolie. I take the spoolie side and I just sort of brush upward to make it all like super messy, and then brush it back down. Your eyebrows need combing on a daily basis just to make sure that, like, you know, there's no stray hairs, and if I see that there are hairs that are super long, I will go ahead and cut them with scissors, or like cuticle scissors, not crazy scissors. So same thing on the other side, brush the hair upward. And there are some crazy hairs here, but I can deal with it for today. And then brush it out. And they already look like 100 times better, honestly. Then I go ahead and position my stencil. You want to make sure that this dotted line is at the edge of the brow, and that you bring the stencil within the brow. And in order to know that, this black line will be in a straight line. Okay, so that's pretty straight to me. Then I go ahead and take my Brow Wiz, and this is in the color soft brown, but I've also used medium brown depending on how dark you want to go. I generally have like 3 or 4 of these Brow Wizzes, honestly, just because I never know which one. But today, like on a daily basis, I use soft brown because it's like the least harsh color. So yeah, and then I just sort of outline my brow with the pencil according to the stencil. And then I outline the bottom part of the first part here, just the bottom, not the top, because I don't really need to. And then I outline the top, not the bottom, of the second part. And I obviously have to extend the tail pretty much because my hair stops growing there. Then I take off the stencil and I take a look at what I've done, basically. And then I start filling it in based on like where the stencil lies. And I use this motion like this that creates hair-like strokes, I guess, so that it's not like I'm painting my brows in like harshly. So just hair-like strokes, and then I extend this down and up because on the other side I do have this part that goes up. I don't have this part that goes up here. I don't know, my eyebrows, I have like a huge eyebrow complex, honestly. So I try to make them as even as possible, even without the stencil. Like some days I'll go not using the stencil just because I know how to fill them in by now. Like I know how to make them even. So I know that I have to extend this part up because my hair doesn't grow there. And yeah, so I just keep doing that. And I need to extend that line there too. And fill them in. I should have probably zoomed in a little bit. So I'm just filling them in with these hair-like strokes. I don't want it to be too harsh. On a daily basis, I don't want it harsh. On days that I do, I generally use the pomade. Like when I want to go full out with my eyebrows, I use the pomade in chocolate. So I just keep filling them in until I feel like they're done. That looks pretty good to me. That pretty much matches the Petite Arch stencil pretty well, and I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. So I make sure that this is in line, and I do have a bit of hair extra up here, so I always have to add it because the stencil, it doesn't fit. Like I have to add it on this side because I have extra hair up here that doesn't fit in the stencil, which is really weird, but whatever. My eyebrows are weird. Again, huge eyebrow complex. So I am missing hair from this bottom part, so again I do the same thing. I outline the bottom part and then I outline the top part of this side of it, and instead of both. I'm going to take off the stencil. The hard part about the stencil is making sure that it's straight. You want to make sure you have this straight black line. So and then I go ahead and fill everything in. I made a really harsh line there, so I'm going to have to blend that out with the spoolie later. You don't want to make this really harsh line because then it's hard to blend. Again with the hair like strokes. And I just go ahead and fill this part in a little bit, but that's the part that I fill in the least because I have like hair there on like the other side. But I also want to make it even in terms of darkness, so that's why I fill it in a little bit. And then I keep just around the eyebrow, just keep doing hair like strokes because I don't want it to be too harsh. I feel like this arch is a little bit more than the other arch. So again, just by looking, instead of using the stencil, I can tell that this arch is more apparent than this arch. So I'm gonna go ahead and fix that by bringing this a little further down. That's pretty good. And then just keep filling this in on the other side. Then I go back to the spoolie, though the brow wizzes have a spoolie on the other side. I generally like to use a spoolie better. I just don't know why, but whatever. And I just take it and I comb it through just to make it a little less harsh. And especially this side because I did that harsh line. I have to like really do that. Then I take a different brow wiz. This is an Auburn only because of my red-ish hair. It's kind of fading and I actually have like a lot of grays, but that's besides the point. Anyway, because of my reddish hair, I use the color Auburn. The brow is in Auburn, and I don't do the same thing. I just do it in a few places just to give it that accent of red. I recommend that if you have dyed hair, you do the same. Like if your hair is dyed blonde, to get the brow wiz and like, I forgot what color it is, but the lightest color, so that you have like little accents of your hair color so that your eyebrows don't look like a totally different color. I don't know, personally that bothers me when I see like blonde, unless you're born with it, which is a different story. When I see blonde people with dyed blonde hair and their eyebrows are super dark, that bothers me for some reason. So doing the same thing on the other side. So to me they look pretty even. The only thing is I feel like this tail is a little too extended for my liking, so I'm just gonna take some off. Took too much off. The last part of my brow routine is taking a powder just to set everything. This is, again, the Anastasia. I love the brow products from Anastasia. That's why I use them. Like, I wouldn't use it if I didn't like it. So this is the Anastasia Brow Duo and Dark Brown. And I just take a mix of both, honestly, just because, I don't know, I think the dark one is too dark for my liking. And I just take it in, again, the same hair-like strokes, just to set the pencil. And so, because you know, powder sets anything, and I just set that so that it'll last me the whole day, pretty much. Same thing on the other side. And the icing on the cake, basically when I'm done doing my eyebrows, is putting a little highlighter here and up here a little bit, but that's totally optional, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm going to use this color here to highlight and use this MAC really tiny brush. I think it's a shader brush. It's the MAC 228 brush, and take the color 13, which is a matte white, just for a highlight. Highlight my brow bone, and it really brings out my eyebrows. And I'm also going to highlight the inner corner. Same thing on the other eye. This is the completed look after I finished the rest of my makeup. And yeah, so you can see my eyebrows are pretty even. Just using the stencil really helps me personally, but you can always not use it and just sort of eyeball it yourself, which I do sometimes as well. But now you know what I do for my eyebrow routine. So I hope you enjoyed my brow routine, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more from me. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye! Bathtub, so I have this travel thing. I have my body wash that I need, and I have my nighttime